Donald Trump has already, in his first year of his second term, pardoned a lot of outright frauds and con men, even insurrectionists, just sent them out there to commit more crimes and possibly try to overturn our government once again. But his latest pardon is making even like people in the media, I feel like it might be a little bit radical this time. He announced that he was going to do it in this Truth Social post. We're not gonna read the entire thing. It's a lot of it is just about how he has a preferred candidate in the upcoming Honduran election. And that's its own big issue, which I'm sure we'll end up talking about God knows what they're gonna do, a business coup, whatever. Anyway, the part we wanna focus on is this, where he says, additionally, I will be granting a full and complete pardon to former President Juan Orlando Hernandez, who has been, according to many people that I greatly respect, and no, this is a real conversation, I'm not just making it up, treated very harshly and unfair. This cannot be allowed to happen, especially now after, and then he just projects that his preferred candidate is going to win the election. Why he needs to pardon a guy if a guy that he likes wins it makes no sense whatsoever, but that's what he's saying. So anyway, why is this extreme? Why would it be an issue that he's pardoning this ex-Honduran president? Well, take a look at this, an interaction he had with the media about it.
It's made so clear how you want to keep drugs out of the US.
Right.
Can you explain more about why you would pardon a notorious drug trafficker?
Well, I don't know who you're talking about. Which
Juan Orlando Hernandez.
Well, I was told, I was asked by Honduras, many of the people of Honduras, they said it was a Biden setup. I don't mean Biden, look, Biden didn't know he was alive, but it was the people that surround the Resolute desk, surround Biden when he was there, which was about very little time. And the people of Honduras really thought he was set up and it was a terrible thing. He was the president of the country, and they basically said he was a drug dealer because he was the president of the country.
Okay, very importantly, that is not what they said during the investigation and the trial and all the evidence that was produced and all the witnesses that were brought forward, all the witnesses that talked about him having people killed to protect what he was doing, the witnesses who admitted to bribing him to the tunes of hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, all that evidence very much was not, there were drug dealings done and he was president at the time. Now, does Donald Trump know that? Who the hell knows? I mean, he's projecting even in that where he says it was a Biden thing. I mean, Biden was dead. He was just doing what people told him. This is what Trump says. And then I'm sure in the rest of that media scrum, he's gonna say many times he has no idea what's going on. It's just projection. He's being told to pardon these people. He doesn't know anything about Honduras or about this guy or whatever. But we'll get to the actual facts. Here's a bit more of his attempt at an answer.
They said it was a Biden administration setup, and I looked at the facts and I agreed with them.
What evidence did you share that he was set up and that he wasn't?
Well, you take a look. I mean, they could say that you take any country you want. If somebody sells drugs in that country, that doesn't mean you arrest the president and put him in jail for the rest of his life.
President, can I just clarify, do you think that you have...
That includes this country, okay? To be honest, I mean, if somebody does something wrong, you put the president of the country in jail. They said it was a Biden setup. It was the Biden administration setup, and you have a big race going on this week, next week. I think it's going to be a very important race. It'll be interesting to see Honduras. That's what you're talking about, right?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, she already confirmed what she was talking about. And shouldn't you have confirmed that's the country you were talking about before you went on a 2-minute long weave right there? Anyway, oh my God. Okay, so I looked into the facts. She says, what facts? He says, will you look into it? Well, no, I mean, the prosecutors looked into it. The judge looked into it. The jury looked into it. That's what a trial is. They very much looked into it. Now, if you have secret facts that apparently weren't good enough to actually get him off during the legal process, and that is all it takes for you to let loose this guy after the mountain of evidence against him and all the damage that was done, directly contradicting everything you're saying about how you should be given unprecedented power to murder anyone you want to stop drugs from getting in here. When this guy, prosecutors said he was key to a scheme that lasted 2 decades and brought more than 500 tons of cocaine into the US. And by the way, at least some of that cocaine wasn't consumed by Don Jr., so it got out there to the regular population. Then maybe you could say one of those facts. Instead, it's just Biden hit job. It was Biden thing. No, man. He apparently wants the Juan Orlando Hernandez once apparently boasted that he would, quote, stuff the drugs up the gringos' noses. He accepted a $1 million bribe from El Chapo. Yeah, that El Chapo, by the way, to allow cocaine shipments to pass through Honduras. A man was killed in prison to protect him. He directed the police and the military to protect smugglers who paid him off. He promised to shield them from extradition to the US. He once reassured a Honduran cocaine trafficker that, quote, by the time the gringos find out, we will have eliminated extradition. But you're probably wondering, so why is Trump doing this with all of this evidence? I have two theories, okay? One is this: when he was sentenced in 2024, Mr. Hernandez spoke for almost an hour in court, airing conspiracy theories and grievances as he portrayed himself as the victim of political persecution. I don't know if he literally said it's a witch hunt, but maybe Trump just likes that. I mean, this guy also had some elections with tons of fraud and everything, so maybe Trump just feels a kinship to him. Or maybe Hernandez or his allies transferred a couple $1 million to Donald Trump through World Liberty Financial. I mean, I can just say that because, JR, there is literally no way we would know. If this guy bought a couple $1 million of Trump NFTs or Trump coin, it's all anonymous. There's no regulations whatsoever. There's no disclosure. We would have no idea if this notorious international drug trafficker were to have just bribed him to the tune of 1 or 10 or $100 million. We would literally never know. And even if it came out, JR, do we think MAGA would have an issue with it? Do we think Trump would resign in disgrace? It's totally allowed. By the way, I'll just end with this and then I'll let you get in. I apologize. Trump just pardoned another guy, another fraudster, $1.6 billion in fraud affecting tens of thousands of Americans. He just let him go. No reason. The guy wasn't innocent. He defrauded people to the tune of nearly $2 billion, and Trump just let him go. Do you see Fox News freaking out? Do you see MAGA freaking out? He's just protecting other frauds and criminals. Sorry, what do you think?
Yeah, it's fine. It's what criminals do. This guy's a 34-time felon sitting in the White House. The whole idea, he's a mob boss. The whole idea here is to continue to work with other criminals and make sure that everyone stays afloat. He doesn't have any morals, no principles whatsoever. Everything is based in who can do something for me. That's literally how he operates in everything. I'm not sure if you're gonna get to Russia, but that's a big one. It's all it is it talks about is how he needs to scratch someone's back and then they scratch his back and then afterwards he screws them over when everything gets put out in the front. Again, it was so really fast. I had a lot of questions, John. It was a Biden administration setup. What a lazy excuse. He says it was a Biden administration setup. You know, I feel like even if you're listening to the BS that he always talks about, the very next question should be, why did the Biden administration want to set him up? What did the Biden administration have against a notorious drug trafficking leader? What is it that they have? How did that benefit Joe Biden's policies? What is it about jailing a drug trafficker have to do with Biden's policies? Which one of Biden's policies was assisted by this? You know, he was hugely corrupt, Joe Biden, right? So after that, how does this help him out? Also, these people that told you to release him, what benefit do they have in telling you that? Since you have no idea, you just told us you have no effing clue what you're doing. So what benefit do they have? Who are these people? Why should these people be anonymous if they've told you to release this guy who has all this mountain of evidence on him? Who vouched for him? Why did they vouch for this guy? There's so many questions that he could answer if someone would just ask him the questions, and it doesn't even have to sound like you're trying to corner him. He's cornered himself. He's a criminal. He's a criminal in the White House who does things like this. He's apparently weak and knows nothing that's going on. Does he have dementia? Does he not know what's happening? Is he sleepy freaking Don? What's going on with this guy? And he's the one, by the way, there's last excuse. I mean, just because he says that, you know, a leader of a country that has drug dealings happening, they claim that he was a drug dealer. That's what this administration does, isn't it? Aren't they talking about how they're gonna go and dismantle and get rid of Maduro because of all the illegal actions and things that he's doing? How is it that suddenly the problem is that Joe Biden was getting rid of a leader of a country because drug dealing was happening there? Nothing, literally nothing they say makes sense. And you only get to that conclusion if you ask a couple of curious questions, like why?
Yeah, well, and maybe he didn't want those questions, which is why he just rambled and rambled and rambled and rambled. to stop that, so they could then finish and then move on to another person. Maybe. By the way, I'm just gonna close by saying, you know how like the right was like freaking out, like how dare you say we would give an illegal order, and then oopsie doopsie, it looks like Hegseth was doing some illegal orders. In his defense against that, Hegseth was like, we kill drug traffickers. The Biden administration coddles them. He tweeted it, they coddle them. As Trump is going to pardon and release, no consequences whatsoever, a notorious drug trafficker. Who exactly is doing the coddling here? It looks like Biden wanted to lock him up. And by the way, if you look into the full history of this, lots of people don't end up looking good when it comes to this guy. Trump in his first term was super nice to he's now the ex-president, he was the president then. Biden previously had said some nice things about him. Obama had said some nice things about him because he's the sort of leader that they want in office. Kind of conservative, pro-free markets or whatever, which by the way, the guy Trump is now pushing to be the leader is also that same kind of guy. This ain't about the people of Honduras. When he says people in Honduras, told me, he doesn't mean peasants. He doesn't mean regular people. He means business leaders and politicians. That's what he's talking about here.